History shows us that military conquest is only temporary without the complete occupation of a conquered nation's collective mind. In 1193, Nalanda University served as the epicenter of this intellectual power. Thousands of scholars from China, Tibet, and Turkey traveled thousands of miles to this campus to study astronomy, mathematics, and medicine. This global center of learning sat directly in the path of Bakhtiyar Khilji, a military commander stalled by a severe, undiagnosable illness. His own physicians exhausted their remedies, yet his condition continued to deteriorate. Facing death, Khilji summoned an unarmed Indian scholar, Acharya Rahul Shribhadra. Knowing the commander would refuse any infidel medicine, Shribhadra secretly applied an Ayurvedic paste to the corners of Khilji's Quran. As Khilji wet his fingers to turn the pages, he ingested the hidden cure and recovered. This recovery left Khilji with a dangerous realization: his sword was useless against the illness that an unarmed scholar had cured with a book. This proof of intellectual superiority turned his military victory into a source of deep-seated insecurity. Khilji concluded that if this indigenous knowledge remained, his authority would always be fragile. He saw the native intellect as a direct threat to his empire's survival. He marched his army into Nalanda and ordered the massacre of every monk and scholar on the grounds. By executing the teachers, he ensured the knowledge trapped in their books could never be explained to the next generation. His soldiers then ignited Dharmaganja, the university's 9 million manuscript library. The collection was so vast that accounts describe the buildings burning for 3 months straight. This was a calculated strategy of cultural eradication. Stripping a civilization of its records is the most effective way to permanently overwrite its identity. In 1258, this pattern of destruction repeated itself in the Middle East. The Mongol ruler Hulagu Khan sacked Baghdad, the center of the Islamic Golden Age. Troops dumped the Grand Library into the Tigris River until the water ran black with ink and red with the blood of executed scholars. By 1933, the physical destruction of books evolved into a weapon for ideological purity. Nazi soldiers and students organized massive public bonfires to incinerate texts written by Jewish scholars or anyone holding dissenting views. By removing these books, the regime could dictate a single, unquestioned reality to the population. Whether the perpetrator is a 13th century warlord or a 20th century fascist, fire serves as the primary tool for mental subjugation. In 19th century India, British administrators developed a strategy that was far more effective than fire. British officials observed that India's Gurukul education system was too deeply embedded in village life to be destroyed by force. These schools maintained a decentralized network of language, philosophy, and science that sustained the national identity. Lord Macaulay's 1835 policy neutralized these schools, making English the sole gateway to government employment and legal status. This bureaucratic move rendered centuries of traditional study economically useless overnight. Without employment prospects, the incentive to master indigenous languages or sciences vanished. Macaulay achieved what Khilji's fires could not. He didn't need to burn the books. He simply ensured that the conquered population no longer had the desire to read them. Sociologists call this enduring psychological fallout, Macaulayism, a state where a population remains colonized in its intellect long after gaining political independence. This bias persists in the modern reflex that equates English fluency with superior intelligence, while viewing native mother tongues as a sign of being backward. This internal bias is the conqueror's final victory. It creates a society that devalues its own heritage in favor of the invader's standards. History shows that invaders target armies to take the land, but they target libraries and schools to take the soul. Reclaiming your linguistic heritage and ancestral knowledge is the only way to reverse 1,000 years of cultural erasure.